Hey guys, and welcome to the channel and podcast. I have with me Amy Lundy returning. How are you doing, Amy?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We were just talking about some crazy stuff happening in the world as we know at the moment, but also some interesting news coming out of the tennis world as well. Nadal, I mean, how good is he playing at the moment? 15 wins, no losses, and I mean the best start to a year that he's ever had. He's won 3 tournaments, and he just beat the number one in Medvedev again, straight sets, and looked really good. Nori had a fantastic run as well, has to be said. I want to chuck him in there, but just because he honorable mention, fine with
Mhm.
Acapulco for us Brits, but yeah, he's been playing so well, and surely he goes into the clay court swing and then Roland Garros, as long as he stays fit, of course, as the favorite. I mean, I think he would have been the favorite anyway, as long as he's probably playing tennis at Roland Garros, but he will go into it like a relatively big favorite, especially if Djokovic isn't playing. I mean, how well can he do this year? I mean, is there any limit? I mean, for me, it's more like, I know it's quite far into the future, but Wimbledon is the one tournament where you just think he may struggle there a little bit to kind of, because of the surface. And I know he's won there twice, but it's not really his type of surface. But then I say that, and then he's done really well on the hard courts recently. So it's almost like, who knows? Who knows?
Oh, he can do anything. And remember, the loss to Djokovic at Wimbledon, where Djokovic went on to win the title, was very close. I mean, that was about as close. So he can make grass his surface. He's one of the greatest ever. Um, so I just think more in the near term, which would have an effect on the midterm, would be how he manages the clay season and also this sunshine swing. There's been a lot. We know he's playing Indian Wells. He said he's excited about that. And I know that he's friendly with the management of that tournament, so he'll for sure be there. But there's been a lot of speculation about whether he'd play Miami, which he has skipped many times over the years so that he could get himself over to Europe and start preparing for clay. And I think it would be great, though, if he would play Miami because it's such a Spanish-speaking city, and they love him there, and the tournament could really use his presence. So it'll be a really interesting month of March for Nadal, and we'll begin to see how he manages his clay season. But I will say this: I did an article a few years ago on what Nadal does historically in that clay season with all those tournaments and what the result at Roland Garros is. So, in other words, if he only was able to play one clay tournament, would that hurt him at Roland Garros? Or if he played all of them, would that hurt or help? And the answer was it did not matter. If he didn't play hardly any clay tournaments, he would still go on to win Roland Garros. If he played them all and won them all, he would still go on to win Roland Garros. If he played them, but he didn't win them, he didn't have success, he would still go on to win Roland Garros. It really didn't matter. The only X factor right now is his age and his body.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you were talking about the data, I wonder if it's a pattern. But I was thinking he's only lost 3 times
Yeah,
at Roland Garros, and I was like, he's
yeah.
won this 13 times. So I was like, actually, I bet it's probably nothing. Actually, I was like, yeah,
There is no pattern.
there's no
No
trend. Yeah,
pattern.
yeah. I think as you know, I'm a bit of a Nadal fan, so I think just for me personally, I would like him to hopefully not play all of the clay court tournaments and have um, a bit more of an easy lead up because of his body and age, not more to do with, I guess, his form going into it. Because as you said, I think if he loses a couple of tournaments, normally he will still go into the favourite unless he kind of loses the first round of every single clay court tournament going up to Roland Garros. Then people might think, oh, hold on, what's going on? But
Which
yeah,
ones would you have him skip?
it's really hard, right? Because I know he loves Barcelona.
And he's
So
defending champion
and he's
there.
defending champion. Yeah, I mean, he's defending like Rome as well. He's defending champion, but then he could miss
Yeah.
that because he played obviously Djokovic in the final there. I mean,
You don't want him to skip Monte Carlo because that's iconic.
and then Madrid. Yeah,
He could
exactly.
actually skip. I mean, it's a mandatory. It's 1,000.
It's 1,000. Yeah,
He could skip Madrid only because the altitude is so different there that
that's true.
it just plays differently than Roland Garros. Would it really be worth it? And the topspin is so heavy. I mean, that benefits him, but he's also having to
Yeah.
work against heavy topspin as well. So I would skip that one. I might skip Barcelona, maybe just Monte Carlo and Rome. An
The
idea?
problem, but see, the problem with that, right, though, is that both the ones that you're saying to skip, they're both in Spain.
Oh,
And those
yeah.
ideally would be the ones that he probably wants to play, right? Because he's like Spain, home crowd, like.
Yeah.
But no, I get what you mean. Like, I know, I think
you're
if
right.
you weren't thinking it from a national point of view, you probably would play those other two. But so it'll be intriguing. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays all of them. But yeah, I kind of hope he doesn't. But we'll see. Hopefully, he just stays fit. I think is the main thing. And if he stays fit, then I think it'll be a good tournament. I mean, actually, I was talking to the boys from Game to Love podcast, and they were saying to me that about Casper Ruud, and they think he's a bit of a dark horse. They don't think he's going to win, but they think he's going to make a relatively like deep run, like whether it's a quarter.
At Roland Garros.
Yeah, Casper Ruud, yeah, at Roland Garros. So whether it's a quarter or semi, or who knows, maybe even a final. But they don't necessarily think he's going to win, but they think he's going to do something good there. And I think that's probably going to happen at some point. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but he's definitely going to be up there with the Tsitsipas's, I'd imagine, and kind of Zverev if Zverev plays. Although I don't think Zverev's getting a ban, is he? He just got the maximum fine.
I think they're still thinking about it. I'm not sure what's going on. I did read that they've hired a private firm, which to me means like a private investigator, to investigate the abuse allegations.
Yeah.
So maybe they're tying together the two, and they're taking their time just to get it right. But the one name you didn't mention was Berrettini. He's injured right now because he has the abdominal strain that has been dogging him a little bit. But I like Berrettini on just about every surface.
Yeah, I agree. Things on clay, right? Because it's not as quick, so you just think, oh well, maybe he doesn't get as much purchase of his serve, but then it means that he can make a lot more forehands. And then he can hide his backhand more, right?
Yep.
So, and then he hits his forehand. People don't realize, I think, sometimes, I guess if you're like a casual, when you watch him hit his forehand, you think, oh, he just hits it really flat, but he doesn't. He actually hits, I think it was last year, he was hitting with as much topspin as Rafael Nadal.
Interesting.
On his forehand, which was unbelievable. So if you think about how hard he hits it, like he's hitting like 100+ mile per hour winners at times, but he hits it with a huge amount of topspin. Like he really does whip the forehand. I guess that makes sense as to why he's had success on the clay as well. And he is definitely improving. He continues to improve. So I'd imagine he'll have a decent run there. And one other person I guess loves the forehand is Rublev. He's had a good run recently, but I'm unsure about how effective he'll be on the clay.
Yeah, he and Medvedev are, a little more flat hitters.
Well, thanks, Amy, for being on as always. Really appreciate it. Is there anything you want to touch on before we wrap up?
No, just send good vibes, prayers, and everything else to Ukraine.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Well, thanks, Amy, again for being on. We'll definitely catch up, hopefully, sometime soon again. Guys, do check out Amy on Twitter. And also 3 Tennis Podcasts as well. Also, Tennis Connected, I think, is where most of your articles are. So some really good articles. I've been reading them pretty much every time they come out. They're really good reads. So thank you. Yeah, they're good. They're really good, really informative. So thank you as someone who reads them. But yeah, guys, please remember as well to like this video, subscribe if you're watching on podcast platforms, and do give us a follow if you don't mind, and subscribe depending on what platform. But yeah, stay safe and well, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much.